When the average person hears the phrase smart home, they think of a cheap plastic speaker on a kitchen counter that turns on a lamp when you yell at it. But in the world of ultra-high-end domotics and artificial intelligence, true automation is not a gimmick. It is the creation of a living, breathing digital organism. A true smart home doesn't wait for a command. It predicts your biometric temperature and adjusts the HVAC before you even know you're sweating. It learns your daily rhythms, reads the ambient UV light, and manages millions of localized data points in fractions of a microsecond. To write the code for a house that can think, you have to spend thousands of hours staring at raw data, balancing neural networks, and writing fail-safes. I spent my entire career teaching machines how to protect and nurture the people living inside them. I just never realized that the most dangerous, toxic malware in my life wasn't trying to hack my servers from the outside. It was already living inside my home, sleeping in my bed. My name is Caleb. I'm 36 years old, and I am a lead domotics engineer and AI systems architect. 5 years ago, I married Sienna. Sienna was a high-powered, fiercely ambitious luxury real estate broker. She operated in the glamorous, cutthroat world of Beverly Hills and Bel Air, selling $50 million mega mansions to tech billionaires and celebrities. I was the introverted programmer who spent 18 hours a day in a windless basement writing code. We were complete opposites, but I thought we were the perfect ecosystem. She sold the ultimate luxury lifestyle, and I engineered the technology that made it possible. For 4 grueling years, I poured every ounce of my personal savings, my sanity, and my genius into my absolute magnum opus. I called it Project Elysium. It wasn't just a smart home app. I had invented a proprietary closed-loop AI software engine. It could interface with every single electronic, pneumatic, and hydraulic system in-house with zero latency. It was a technological holy grail that massive tech conglomerates were spending tens of millions of dollars trying to replicate. Independent software auditors appraised the source code and the patents at roughly $30 million. I promised Sienna this code was our empire. I told her that when we licensed the AI to a major luxury developer, we would be set for life. She would be the queen of Los Angeles real estate. But Sienna didn't want to build a kingdom with a software engineer. She looked at my glowing monitors and my exhausted eyes, and she decided she wanted the $30 million without having to share the house with the nerd who built it. And she found a corporate shark who was more than willing to help her steal the keys. The encryption on our marriage started to fail when Sienna's brokerage signed an exclusive contract with a massive, aggressive luxury real estate development firm. The CEO of that firm was a man named Marcus. Marcus was 45 years old and the absolute poster boy for real estate arrogance. He didn't know how to lay a brick, and he certainly didn't understand software architecture. He was a ruthless venture capitalist who bought up historic neighborhoods, bulldozed them, and built massive, tasteless, 30,000 square foot glass and steel mega mansions on speculation. He wore custom Italian suits, drove a leased Rolls-Royce, and treated brilliant architects and engineers like disposable minimum wage laborers. Suddenly, Sienna was spending all her time at Marcus's flagship construction site in Bel Air, claiming she was restructuring his global marketing strategy for the ultimate open house. The red flags didn't just quietly appear, they triggered every internal breach alarm I had. First, the profound, unapologetic disrespect. Sienna started actively belittling my life's work. "Caleb, you need to wake up," she scoffed one evening, tossing her $4,000 handbag on my pristine server rack. "Marcus is building a $150 million estate. He shapes the skyline of Los Angeles. You're just a guy sitting in a basement playing with glorified light switches. You lack corporate vision. Nobody cares about your predictive algorithms. They care about the marble countertops." Second, the intense, unnatural secrecy regarding her devices. Sienna changed the passcode on her phone and her laptop. She started taking crisis logistics calls in her car, sitting in the driveway with the engine running for 40 minutes before coming inside. Third, and by far the most terrifying, was her sudden, highly specific interest in my server architecture. Sienna, a woman who absolutely loathed the hum of my cooling fans, suddenly asked exactly how the Elysium source code was compiled and if the master repository could be transferred onto an encrypted portable solid-state drive. When a real estate broker suddenly asks for the master encryption keys to a $30 million artificial intelligence protocol, you don't answer the question. You run a deep-level packet inspection on your network. When you build proprietary AI technology that controls the physical environment of a house, you don't rely on a standard Wi-Fi password. My entire home network was routed through a custom hardware firewall that silently logged every single byte of unauthorized data moving across the local area network. One Saturday night, while Sienna was supposedly at a weekend networking retreat in Santa Barbara, my phone vibrated with a critical priority alert from my server. Someone was actively attempting to execute a mass file transfer from my secure development environment to an unauthorized external cloud locker. I didn't storm upstairs and pull the power cord. I simply isolated the connection, artificially slowed the transfer speed to a crawl to buy myself time, and mirrored her laptop screen directly to my home monitors. She had her encrypted messaging app open, communicating directly with Marcus. I didn't just find an affair, I found a premeditated, multi-million-dollar corporate heist. Marcus wrote, "My lead software engineers just reviewed the compressed simulation code you sneaked out last week. They're completely losing their minds. The AI logic is 10 years ahead of anything Google or Amazon has. If we install this into the mainframe of my new $150 million Bel Air mega mansion and launch it at the VIP open house next month, the Saudi billionaires will buy the house on the spot. I'll launch my own tech company based on the code. Have you secured the master source drive yet?" Sienna replied, her words dripping with a casual, horrifying cruelty that made the blood freeze in my veins. "I'm copying the master repository from his server right now. The idiot actually thinks I care about his stupid code. Tomorrow, when he goes to his tech symposium in Seattle, I'll take the master hard drive. We'll compile the code into your mansion, launch it in Bel Air, and I'll serve him with divorce papers the morning after. He has no money to fight your corporate lawyers. He's just a sad, antisocial nerd, Marcus. We're gonna rule this city." Marcus responded, "You're a visionary, my love. The basement nerd is gonna fund our entire empire." I sat alone in the dark, staring at the glowing monitor as my entire reality shattered into a million pieces. My wife of 5 years was sleeping with a corporate parasite. Together, they were actively plotting to steal 4 years of my blood, sweat, and genius, intentionally hijack my masterpiece, launch it on the biggest stage in the world, and leave me utterly destroyed. They thought I was just a sad, antisocial nerd. They didn't understand the level of absolute, unmitigated digital destruction a master AI architect is capable of coding. If you want to destroy a fraudulent real estate developer, you don't smash his windows. You let him steal your code. You let him wire it into the walls of a $150 million house. You let him invite the wealthiest billionaires on Earth inside, and then you turn the house against him. I didn't confront her. If I yelled and locked the server, Marcus's army of corporate lawyers would bury me in injunctions, claim they had a verbal contract to the design, and tie me up in court for a decade until I went bankrupt. I needed them to steal the code. I needed Marcus to proudly stand in the grand foyer of his mega mansion in front of thousands of investors and claim my genius as his own. So I went to work on the back end. I took the true, uncompiled master source code, encrypted it with a 256-bit key, and moved it to an air-gapped hard drive that I locked in a bank vault. Then I turned my attention to the cloned code they were planning to steal. To Marcus's highly paid, arrogant IT team, the cloned code I left on the server would look absolutely flawless. It would compile perfectly. When they installed it into the mansion's mainframe, the lights would dim beautifully, the climate control would be pristine, and the $5 million home audio system would sound like heaven. But deeply embedded in the absolute foundational math of the event mode execution protocol, buried so deep in the hex code that no QA tester on Earth would ever find it, I wrote a logic bomb. I called it the exposure protocol. I programmed a highly specific voice-activated trigger. I knew Marcus's massive ego. I knew that at the absolute climax of the VIP open house, he would want to show off the AI to the crowd by giving it a grand theatrical command. I coded the AI so that if its microphones picked up the exact phrase, Elysium, initiate gala mode, spoken in Marcus's specific vocal frequency, the payload would execute. It wouldn't just crash the house, it would violently invert the environment. It would lock the smart glass into an opaque state, hijack the audio system, and overwrite all 8K televisions with a hard-coded script I buried in the registry. I finalized the patch. I left the cloned code on my server. The next morning, I packed my bags for the convention in Seattle. I kissed Sienna goodbye. "Have a great trip, Caleb," she smiled, handing me my coffee. "Take care of the house, Sienna," I replied, looking her dead in the eyes. "You know that project is my masterpiece." "I'll guard it with my life," she promised. I drove away. I let her bring the thieves into my sanctuary. I let them steal the bomb. Now, they just had to speak the words.
I didn't go to Seattle. I drove straight to the offices of the most aggressive, ruthless intellectual property and corporate fraud litigator in California. I sat down at his mahogany conference table. I handed him my original time-stamped code logs. I handed him the high-definition security footage and the crystal-clear iCloud transcripts of Sienna and Marcus explicitly conspiring to steal the files and the proprietary algorithms. And finally, I handed him the official, federally approved patent documentation for the Elysium AI software, which I had secretly expedited and secured exclusively in my own name a month prior. My wife and her accomplice are going to illegally install stolen, patented artificial intelligence into a $150 million mega mansion and launch it at a VIP open house in Bel Air next Saturday, I told my lawyer calmly. My lawyer reviewed the documents, read the chat logs, and slowly smiled like a shark smelling blood in the water. Caleb, utilizing stolen, patented software architecture to solicit hundreds of millions of dollars from international real estate investors, is massive, willful federal fraud. If he presents this house to boost his corporate valuation, we won't just sue him. The SEC and the FBI will literally liquidate his entire development empire. Draft the paperwork, but do not file the injunction yet. Do not stop the party. Let him turn the house on. I want him to put his face on it in front of the whole world. On Wednesday afternoon, my phone notified me that my server had been breached. Through the hidden cameras, I watched Sienna happily download the rigged files onto an encrypted drive. She left a white envelope containing divorce papers on my desk and walked out without looking back. They were laughing. They thought they had just executed the perfect, untouchable heist. but they had no idea they had just installed a digital executioner directly into the walls of their own fortress.
Saturday night, live from Bel Air, the undisputed center of global wealth. I sat in my dark hotel room, watching the high-definition live streams from the event on my monitors. Marcus was hyping up the crowd, pacing back and forth across the imported Italian marble floors of the massive 30,000-square-foot living room. The camera panned to the VIP section, and I saw Sienna standing there, holding a glass of champagne, looking incredibly proud, believing she had just secured a billion-dollar empire. The room was packed with 50 of the wealthiest tech investors and celebrities on Earth. "Ladies and gentlemen," Marcus announced into his microphone, his voice oozing with arrogance, "tonight, we don't just reveal a house, we reveal the future of human habitation, a proprietary artificial intelligence engineered entirely by my company that breathes with you." The crowd applauded. Marcus smiled arrogantly, looking up at the ceiling. "To announce our arrival to the world," Marcus grinned, "Elysium, initiate gala mode." The high-fidelity microphones in the ceiling picked up his voice. I looked at the screen. I knew the code. My logic bomb executed. In a fraction of a millisecond, the AI bypassed the local user network. Instead of playing smooth jazz and dimming the lights, the house violently shifted, the soft ambient LED lighting lining the entire 30,000-square-foot mansion snapped to a blinding, aggressive, flashing neon red. The massive floor-to-ceiling electrochromic smart glass windows, which overlooked the Los Angeles skyline, instantly reversed polarity, snapping completely opaque black. The house was plunged into a dark, flashing red, terrifying ambiance. The elite guests gasped in shock, completely disoriented. "What's going on?" an investor yelled. Marcus froze, his smile vanishing. "Elysium, stop! Reset lighting!" he yelled into the microphone, but he was locked out. Then the massive $5 million integrated surround sound system hijacked the audio. Instead of music, it blasted an audio file at maximum volume. It was the synthesized voice of the AI, mixed with screenshots broadcast simultaneously across every single 100-inch 8K television in the house. The AI's voice boomed across the marble floors. "Fatal error. Stolen intellectual property. This software was stolen from Caleb." Sienna and Marcus committed corporate espionage. Marcus is a fraud. Instantly, the massive 8K televisions dropped their screensavers and displayed massive high-definition screenshots of the WhatsApp chat logs between Sienna and Marcus. The elite guests went dead, pin-drop silent, and then absolute apocalyptic chaos erupted. The elite guests pulled out their phones, frantically recording the giant 8K TVs and the flashing red lights. Marcus was completely unhinged, his face purple with panic. "Pull the power! Go to the breaker room and cut the power!" he screamed at his security team, desperately running towards the 8K TVs as if he could cover them with his hands. In the VIP section, Sienna dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. She put her hands over her mouth, her face turning the color of wet concrete, looking around in absolute, unadulterated horror as the house literally called her a thief in front of the entire Los Angeles elite. "This man is trying to sell us stolen technology?" a furious Saudi investor roared, storming toward the front door. "You are a total scam!" The investors were stampeding for the doors. The social media streams completely broke. Hundreds of thousands of people had just watched a CEO's own $150 million house expose him as a massive fraud on live video. I took a slow, deeply satisfying sip of my coffee, smiled at the chaotic, red-flashing live stream, and texted my lawyer, "Shut it down." You cannot unbroadcast a massive corporate confession from the walls of a $150 million mega mansion. The fallout was an absolute, unmitigated, scorched earth massacre. The video of the flashing red house and the exposed text messages went viral globally within 10 minutes. By Sunday morning, Marcus was the biggest laughingstock in the history of Los Angeles real estate. The wealthy investors who had funded his development instantly pulled their money and filed massive lawsuits against him for gross misrepresentation, fraud, and corporate espionage. But the real fatal blow came from the federal authorities. Because Marcus had utilized stolen, patented software architecture to solicit hundreds of millions of dollars from international real estate investors, the FBI and the SEC raided his corporate headquarters on Monday morning. His entire development empire completely collapsed. His bank accounts were frozen, and he was indicted for massive corporate fraud, facing 15 years in a federal penitentiary. Sienna's life was vaporized. Marcus, realizing he was facing total ruin, immediately blamed her. He told investigators that she was a rogue broker who had supplied him with the stolen, malicious code without his knowledge. He threw her overboard to save himself. She called me from a hotel room in Beverly Hills, sobbing so hard she was hyperventilating. Caleb, please, the FBI contacted me. Marcus dumped me. The house went crazy and showed everyone our messages. You have to tell them you made a mistake with the code. Please, I have nothing. I didn't make a mistake, Sienna, I said calmly, leaning back in my chair. I gave you exactly what you stole. You just forgot to check the back-end routing. I read your chat logs, by the way. Check your email. You've been served with a federal IP lawsuit. Enjoy the real estate market. I hung up and blocked her number. During our divorce settlement, she had absolutely zero leverage because she was facing criminal charges for corporate espionage and grand larceny against me. The judge awarded me 100% of the marital assets and denied her any alimony. She walked away with millions in legal debt and an international felony.
It's been almost 3 years since that catastrophic open house in Bel Air. After the dust finally settled and the lawsuits were paid out, I licensed the real, fully functioning, flawless source code for Project Elysium. I didn't sell it to a flashy real estate developer. I sold the exclusive rights to a legendary, highly respected global technology giant, a company that actually understands software architecture, respects the code, and treats its engineers like true partners. I made enough money from that single contract to buy my own independent AI research firm, hire a full team of developers, and my business has never been better. Last I heard, Sienna avoided a long prison sentence by taking a plea deal, but she is completely blacklisted from the luxury real estate and PR industries globally. She is currently working at a budget apartment rental office in a strip mall, handing out keys to cheap studios, knowing every single day that she voluntarily threw away her golden ticket to the absolute top of the industry. Marcus, completely bankrupt and ruined, is currently serving an 8-year sentence for massive securities fraud. He has no mega mansions, no bespoke suits, and definitely no smart home tech. If there is a lesson to be learned here, it's a simple one. Never try to hijack a system if you don't know the architect who wrote the code. If your partner thinks they can steal your hard work, push you into the shadows, and take the master keys for themselves, don't try to pull the plug. Don't fight them for the server. Smile, hand them the flash drive, let them wire up their massive glass castle, and let them confidently invite the whole world inside. And right when they think they've conquered the future, just let the code execute, drop the blast shields, and let the house show everyone exactly what they deserve. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's the most embarrassing technological failure you've ever witnessed? Stay sharp, trust the math, and always, always encrypt your source code.